Hello, and welcome to Practical Intuition with Kay. This is the show where we are always working to help you choose from your heart and make choices that really feel good for you and best for you. And, you know, when your life is created that way, it's a really fun life. So, I guess what we're really doing here is helping you um, enjoy a really fun life. I am Kay. I think I was the original guinea pig of this idea of like for myself anyway of making choices from my heart in order to enjoy a fun and fulfilled life. That's what's happened, and I'm really, really glad you're here with me today. I'm a coach, I'm an artist, I am an author, I am a podcaster, I am on an adventure, and I'm excited to have you along with me. Welcome to this episode. It is, I believe it's episode 414. I think that's accurate. It's coming out in uh, early March of 2024, and I'm recording it just a few days before it comes out. And I'm excited because I have a tool to talk about today that has been incredibly the most important tool on my journey. And when I say it's the most important well-being tool, I definitely mean that for me. And I'm curious, how you would see it if you see it the same way for you, that this is either been or could be a really useful tool for you. It comes up in my forthcoming book. So the book is called Waking Up: How I Grew to Love My Body and Myself on My Epic Journey Solo Hiking Across England. And I think even the writing of this book has been a really interesting adventure. And I see how I've grown in some ways I didn't before. But I always knew that today's tool that I'm sharing was an important part of this book. Um, and as I'm writing the book, I'm realizing that I want to share about this now, even before it's out, because this I think is one of the most important learnings for me from basically the book is really about the journey that I was on to really grow into myself, to change my identity, although I wouldn't have said it that way at the time. That's certainly what's happened. And this tool was it, like the bomb, the most important one. So, um, and it is minding my own business. That's what this tool is called. Uh, and I wanted to share some ways that minding your own business or minding my own business is coming up for me, even like today. So in the book, there is a section of tools. Like the first thing I do is try to share the tools that have been helpful for me because they do come up quite a bit as the story is unfolding. And tool number one is minding my own business. And this is what I say about it in the book. When I'm in everybody else's business, it is not a good situation. At the beginning of the journey described in this book, I almost always was not minding my own business, and instead I over-involved myself in everybody else's. This was the first thing I learned. Any situation that comes up for me, even today, almost always comes back to the question of, am I minding my own business? Or am I interesting or inserting myself uninvited into somebody else's business? So, that's how it looks for me. That's sort of, I guess, a high level vision of what it looks like to mind my own business. It comes up in like every area of life, or it certainly can come up in every area of life. And I was actually just talking with someone recently about, um, and I used to do this, right? Take on others' pain and make it my own was how I thought I could serve somebody. And realizing that that's sort of not serving anybody has been an important part of this learning because when someone else is suffering, it is, for me anyway, very tempting to want to try and alleviate that suffering by taking it into myself. And that's harmful for both of us and the world, I would say. So I wrote a poem once, and I'm going to read you an excerpt from the poem. Um, the poem is called Magic Wand, and I'm not even sure if it comes up in this section of the poem, but it's really about like if I could wave a magic wand, this is what I would and make anything happen that I could. This is what I would want to do. So so here's what I wrote. The only way to do that, to unchain yourself, is to know inside that you've got enough, that you are enough, that the world is filled with abundance and that you are worthy of enjoying this abundance, worthy of enjoying how you spend your time. I'd grant folks the gift of their own intuition to know with certainty inside that what is best for them and their well being and going toward what is best for them and their well being brings peace, joy, and fulfillment, means feeling loved and loving and trusting themselves. But I can't. I can't say those things. They'll mean nothing. Instead, what I can do is know all this with certainty inside myself, for myself, and cheer them on as they acquire this knowledge for themselves and love them for who they are in their heart. And that's what I feel like I can do. That's so that was that little excerpt from the poem Magic Wand. It comes up today again because like when I'm doing that, when I'm not telling people how I think they should be unchaining themselves, for out of their own prisons, kind of a thing. Because the other thing that I've been thinking, reflecting on a little bit lately is how we create the prisons that we live in. Like our the stories that we tell ourselves, our beliefs, can create. I know for me, and that's basically the whole reason for writing this book is because I wanted to share this learning. Like I did used to sort of story myself into a prison. It was invisible, but it was there nonetheless. And I've learned how to put down those chains and not be in a prison anymore. And yeah, this poem basically speaks to that. Like another way of minding our own business is to know that um, we've been on our journey and what we've learned on our journey can't be as much as we wish it could. We could open up people's heads and stick this knowledge inside of it. We can't, right? We can only be alongside people as they're having their own journey. We can only do a good job kind of taking care of ourselves and being in our best state, our best sort of well-being state is what's going to be helpful for those around us too. And that can feel a little bit hard to understand. So the third and final aspect of this that I really wanted to kind of take you into a little bit is I'm working with somebody right now and I'm sending them in this moment a lot of love. Um, they're facing some serious challenges in their life. And I am, of course, not at liberty to identify anything about them or the situation that they're facing. Um, I am able to celebrate them, and I want to do that publicly too, if they happen to know who they are, if they're listening to this. Celebrate them publicly for not looking away and for really doing their level best to meet these challenges and to come through them. Um, and I didn't say this, I haven't said this to them this way, but I see that the best way for them to navigate the challenges and for everybody to come out as best as possible is for them to mind their own business and really concentrate on themselves and on their own well-being, and that is what's going to be best for others. So this is what I wrote. I shared recently with them. It sounds like you're doing, sorry, it sounds like what you're doing is getting clear on what you need to be okay. There's only so much we can do to help someone else on their journey. We have control only over our choices and our well-being. Much as we may wish we could do more for someone we love, what we can do is feel as well and healthy as possible inside and come from that space in supporting others. I see our work going forward as focusing on you in our upcoming sessions because keeping you healthy is what will help you and your loved ones. And keeping healthy is minding our own business, cheering others on as they mind their own business. And it can be, I think the last thing I want to say about this as we're wrapping up is it can feel backwards. I know it really did feel backwards for me. I felt like the way that I ought to be helping would be to sort of insert myself in everybody else's business because how could they do it without me is really what it felt like from the inside. I don't know. They need me. How can they do this without me? And boy, I'll tell you, one of the things that showed me that what was going on for them was really all about them, was when I spent just in a family situation, when I spent 3 weeks solo hiking across northern England last May, and I was not here to to be helping anyone, or inserting myself into other people's business, in an unasked, unhelpful way, which is what I thought I was supposed to be doing. And I remember just before I left, uh, I was invited to see that, um, feeling, uh, that worrying about them and feeling like they couldn't do it without me was not minding my own business, right? And it was not well-being. Um, and that me taking myself out of their business and cheering for them as they figured it out for themselves and being alongside if any sort of advice was, well, I don't give advice, but any sort of support was needed. Really what I can do is I can help somebody, um, look a little bit more closely and feel safe doing that into what they want and how they the steps that they can take to get what they want. So, um, yeah, spending 3 weeks away, like it wasn't like I was gone for a weekend and they could sort of fudge it. They had to they had to cook for themselves. They had to, get themselves out of bed. They had to, honor their promises and their, you know, show up in their lives how they wanted to. And without me sort of checking in all the time, they did that beautifully. Arguably better, I mean, actually empirically better than they had months before when I was like in their business all the time. Um, yeah, so I think that's really where I'm going to leave it today. Thank you for being here. This has been, just the writing of this book has been so interesting. I've never written a book like this before. It's been really fun to write. It's completely unconventional. There's like entire swaths of it that have like no punctuation. It's really, as I was working with the wonderful woman who is going to be, designing my cover and formatting the book, for publication, she basically suggested, what if it's not like a it doesn't it's not a text heavy book like a novel or a nonfiction, book. It's more of like a poetry setup. And I was like, oh wow, that's amazing. Yes, please. So, so it was very fun to write from the standpoint of just throwing all the rules of conventional writing out the window. I wrote it with my feet up on my couch. I use speech recognition software to write anything, to basically do anything on the computer because, of my tendon condition, the condition that I live with. I still have pretty limited hand usage, about 50% on a good day of like a typical person's hand usage. But genuinely, that has opened up a lot of opportunities for me. Um, I don't think of it as a negative anymore. I think of it as simply what it is, and what I do with it is what I choose to do with it. So, it's made writing this book a hell of a lot of fun. And the book itself will be out in early May, maybe even late April, but early May is the plan right now. And, I'm excited. I'm excited to bring it and share it and, see what people think of it and have conversations with people about what they think about it, because I think that's what I'm excited to do, is sort of share and hear back what was inspiring, or you know, what was useful, what was confusing, all the things, right? So yeah, Waking Up will be out, in just 6 weeks or so. Oh my gosh, that's exciting. And, in the meantime, I'm here in this show, and then I'll be joining you with my friend Monique Giroux, who's going to be a little later in March, and then we've got other fun stuff coming up in the months ahead. And, yeah, thank you for being here with me. It means a lot to have you along on this ride. Um, and I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. I have a huge thanks to our producer. He's really our sort of like executive producer right now because he's someone I can go to with questions or if I need support, but really I'm doing the mixing and the editing of this show now, which again just feels really exciting. This show and also the other show that I'm creating, which is called Where in the World is Andrew Moss, and it is about my friend's a real time conversations with my friend Andrew as he travels around the world in a sailing race. Um, Very fun. He's going around the whole world. Right now he is as I record this, he's in China, um, in port, sort of waiting for, well, I mean, I guess resting up until the next race, and then that'll he'll also land there in China. We may be able to do a check-in, but sometimes it seems like communication with people in China is pretty limited, so we may not. But in any case, after this China leg finishes up, they will race across the Pacific Ocean from China to Seattle, Washington, in the U.S. And I know Andrew himself has been saying how excited he is about like this feels like a real accomplishment to have when he can look back and say that he's circumnavigated or gone across the globe by sailboat from China to Seattle. Like that would feel as well as in addition to all the other, legs that they've already sailed. He's like, that's gonna feel pretty great. So um yeah, so that's another thing that I create. And I do it all this podcasting with the help of our executive producer, not just the producer of the show, but also the 26-time winner of the Husband of the Year award, Benjamin Culp. Thank you so much, Ben, for being here, being along on this ride with me. And thank you for being here and being along on this ride with me today. I'm glad you're here. Lots of love to you, and we will see you next time. Bye.